really kicked off at Google and developed it as a side hustle. It's a little creepy, it went off. Developed it as a side hustle and now came to develop a portfolio of about 51 units in the Southeast area. And so that's helped me kind of foster my full-time job, which I'll talk to a little bit later here today. So yeah, that's what I mean.
And Cyril?
Hi everyone. Oh, I'm going to wake you up. I'm French, just like Olivier. One of those French people doing here. I was born in north of France, a town called Lille. Small village, 5,000 people. And my life was basically very normal until I was 18. And I didn't know what to do at university. So my parents said, why don't you take a year off and go overseas and travel? So I went to Arkansas in the US for 1 year. And believe it or not, I loved it. It was a key in my life. I said after that, I want to travel, I want to learn languages, I want to see the world, I enjoy life. So then I did a master's degree in international business, which was 1 year in Oxford, England, 1 year in Paris, 1 year in Spain, and internship in all different countries. But then I said I want to keep traveling and learn more languages. So after French, English, and Spanish, I moved to Italy and lived 2 years in Milan. I was working for Peugeot, a French company, but I didn't really like it. So I said, okay, I don't like it. I want to move, change something else. So I did the trip around the world for 1 year for $7,000 and 1 year of traveling. And this is ridiculous, but that's what we spent here in 1 month in the Bay Area.
And if you could move towards your
Okay, so yeah, I lived in Brazil, I lived in Argentina, I kept on moving, but suddenly I started to do kayaking and a lot of kayaking and more and longer distances. And 5 years ago, I crossed the Pacific from California to Hawaii on a rowing boat. Yes, so we did that in a team of 4 people, and we got the Guinness World Record for the fastest crossing in 39 days. And now I'm planning to kayak, in a 23-foot kayak solo from California to Hawaii, and this is happening in June next year. So I'll show you maybe a video if it works, or about my project to cross solo and then support it to Hawaii.
And Mehdi, if you could introduce yourself, if it's working.
Yeah, so I am a musician. Originally, I'm from the city of Karachi, and I joined the civil service in 2013. So that's what my background is, and my passion is songwriting. I've been at it for quite a while now. I started writing when I was a child. I've been writing ever since. And in terms of my professional career, which is working in the civil service, I know I get posted to a lot of places in Pakistan. I've been posted in the federal capital for 3 years, and I've been in a lot of cities in southern Punjab. Right now I'm posted in Lahore as an additional deputy commissioner. So that's what I do during the daytime, and apart from that, I'm a songwriter, and that's about it. Thank you.
All right. So now let's get into the real stuff. So, so Mehdi, I guess we'll start with you. We'll go reverse order. So how did you start your songwriting passion? How did you begin with that?
I began with that when I was very little. I used to be a very angry kid, so my dad got me a piano, so I stopped being angry. So I really got hooked on to the piano. And then my elder brother and I, we used to write like funny songs because we were kids. And that's from where I started developing the passion. Then I started playing a lot of other instruments too. I started playing the flute. And then when I was in, I think, in class 7th or 8th, I picked up the guitar and started writing. And even in terms of writing songs, there was a phase in my life where I would write different kind of songs. And then when I joined service, I've been writing the recent things that if you have heard any, the recent songs and the type of songs that I write, I started writing them after I joined the civil service. So that's how it all began.
Cool. And then, Cyril, you already sort of...
Exactly, I'm sorry, I don't know if this answered your question. What was the question again?
That was just, that was good, that was perfect, thank you. And Cyril, so you already sort of touched on this.
Yeah. So, I moved here in California 12 years ago because I was sent by a company to start to work in the wine business. And being French, they said, you know, you're French, let's go there. But before that, I had never kayaked. So I'm 45 now, so I was 32. And a friend of mine invited me to go kayaking under the Golden Gate. So I went in the outrigger canoe. And I did a small race, 8 miles, and another longer, 15 miles, and another 40 miles. 40 miles would be about 6 hours. And then I talked to a few friends and said, this race up in Canada, it's 444 miles. It's going to take 50 hours, let's do this. So then, you know, as the years went by, I got better and better, and I just realized that I was good at long distance paddling and ultra endurance until I stumbled upon this website that said you don't have to be a rower to cross an ocean. Well, obviously you need to know how to row, but it's all in the head, it's mental, it's how to manage your effort and be able to continue. So for that crossing in 2016, it took us 40 days, and in 4 people, 2 people row for 2 hours and you stop 2 hours. You row 2 hours, you stop 2 hours. All day, all night for 40 days. And obviously I'd never think I'd have a Guinness World Record, but I do. And now I'm going for the solo crossing in a kayak. So a kayak is much different than rowing because you have a paddle and you go sideways, you're much more less efficient, and you're closer to the water. But I think it was all about, you know, following your passion. Yeah, it's the path less traveled. I guess it's your own path. Find your own path. For me, it was like, I like this, I'm going to keep doing this and more, and that's it.
Perfect. And then, yeah, Ali.
I like that. I think I started for a different reason. I started about 5 years ago when I was at Google, and it wasn't because I wanted to follow my passion. I actually felt a lot of pressure from others at the company. I felt like at that time, if you didn't have a side hustle, if you weren't chasing financial freedom, like you weren't doing the right thing, you know? And so part of mine was kind of this social pressure that pushed me to like finding something outside of work. And I think I learned pretty quickly that I didn't want to work for somebody else for very long. I'm sure some people feel that way. And so real estate was my foray into being able to do that with the hypothesis that I could try something for a little bit, hopefully become financially free, and then focus what I do full-time with something that's a little bit more passion-driven as opposed to climbing the ladder that I may like otherwise have to do. So that was kind of my reason.
So me, it's like more like quite different. You know, it's like the story of the young kids, like 5'5" and 105 pounds, bullied and small. And I was in sport my whole life. You know, I'm from a family that you need to do sport, you need to do art, you need to do something after school, not just go to school and lie after that. So I started to do judo, and I was like starting judo at 6 years old. And going judo, I'm a Libra. I think probably that's helped a lot. You know, if I'm doing something, I do it 100% or not. So I started the judo, and the way was like to finish on the top. What's the top in judo? It's the Olympic Games. So I was selected for the Olympic Games. I was competing at 110 pounds, below 110, and 3 months before the Olympic Games in '92. That category was like, it's because there was so much skinny guys in the world competing. Well, probably 3 or 4 guys all the time together, you know, and become more friends than opponents. So finally they said, okay, if you want to stay in the team, you need to put 20 pounds and compete on the next category. So when you like always do the same thing and suddenly you reach 20 pounds, it's like, okay, what must I do? Going to McDonald's for 3 months and I will put 20 pounds. Is it that the way? And of course not, it's not the way because it's not 20 pounds that you need to put here, but it's all over the body. And they said to me the best way is like try to go in the gym and ask people. So I arrived in the gym and I saw for the first time a bodybuilder, and I think, and I saw that guy coming to me, he was like, wow, you know, when you, wow, like big muscle everywhere and thing, and I was like really amazed. And when he came to me, he said like, can I help you? I said, yeah, I want to be like you. And finally, I did that. So I put that 20 pounds and I put 80 more. I went to 300 pounds from my 105. Settling today at 225. My competition weight is around 205. And it's, when I do something, I'm doing it. So the top was Mr. Universe, was my goal. I went to Mr. Universe. I won world and national title. I have 89 titles on like 30 years career. And it's not done. I hope I will compete next in April. So that's my next goal. Always have a goal that's driving.
Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Now, sort of, we move on to the balance between your professional life and your passion life. Now, I guess we can do another reverse order. Olivier, you're a high school math teacher.
Yeah, I'm his math teacher actually. So that's why I'm here. I think, I'm not sure exactly if I'm a math teacher because I'm a bodybuilder, or if I'm a bodybuilder because I'm a math teacher. The thing is that math teacher is a part-time job because you work 20 hours a week. So it's probably what you're doing in 1.5 days here. I'm doing that in the week. Sometimes you have some paper to mark, but I have good students, so I don't have lot to mark. The beginning was like, I decided to become a teacher because I wanted to be a bodybuilder. So how can you earn money, not work too much, have a lot of times? Bodybuilding is really a lot of times. It's not like I'm going to the gym 1 hour and go back home. It's 24 hours a day. It's how to manage your 5 to 7 meals, how to count your calories, how to train 2 hours a day, how to sleep 8 hours. If you don't sleep, you don't grow. So that's all things. To put that, you really need to don't have your kind of job, but my kind of job. So I choose to be a math teacher, and I would say that I was born in France, but I traveled a lot. I did 38 countries. Finally settled in South Africa. My wife, my kids are in South Africa. So I used to work all over the world. I'm alone here, and my balance is bodybuilding. I'm working in a triangle. I have gym, school, home, and I'm living on that triangle, and that's balance me, and that allow me to have a balance in my life.
Ali, I guess this is sort of different for you because you can make sort of an income from your passion, but how do you sort of?
I think it helps to have the jobs that I've had where I'm surrounded by really smart people, and I took a lot of feedback in very early, right? How do you do this? How do you do that? I asked a lot of questions. And then now I'm able to pull the corollary between the stuff on the side and optimize the stuff that's full-time. And so full-time I work in product management, and we always focus on how do you scale a particular feature. And whatever I learned there, I try to, if applicable, put into real estate or cryptocurrency. It's like, how do I scale this? And what I learned very quickly was, I can't scale meat, right? I can't go fly to the southeast and look at 100 open houses. Like, that doesn't work. And so the trade-off I had to make is trusting people and relying on them. And one thing that's beautiful on the full-time thing of product management is you have absolutely no authority in product management. You have to rely on people and trust people.